What's up, guys? Welcome back to our Next.js tutorial series. In the third chapter, we're diving into optimizing fonts and images. It's all about making our app faster and looking slick. Ready? Let's roll. We're going to continue with our to-do list app and make it even better by adding custom fonts and optimizing images. First up, let's update the app a bit, then add some custom fonts. I've only adjusted the size of task container and given some shadow. Then set a div element to wrap the input and button in one row. Maybe adjust the gap between the input and button. And I also fixed the blank initial task start by wrapping the return with the if check. It will look out and filter for empty text in the task item. So that's it for updation part. Now move on to our today's topic, the fonts and images in Next.js. First of all, let's choose a Google font and download it locally. We will use it later in our app. Have a thorough look and pick a font that truly justify your app requirements. There are literally thousands of fonts available. Each one is unique and completely free to use. Once you download it, it will give you the license and usage details. Read them carefully and, if required, provide necessary credits. I choose a font called Playfair for this tutorial. Let's start the journey. In Next.js, we can easily add custom fonts using the @next/font package. Earlier, we had to install it separately, although if you're working with Next.js version 14 or latest, then most probably it's already there in your installation directory. Still want to install it? Then open your terminal and run this command: npm install @next/font. Once that's installed, we can add a custom font to our project. Let's use Google Fonts for this example. We'll add the Roboto font. Here, we've imported the Roboto font and applied it globally to our application. You can see that by default, inter is used as global font. Simply replace the call for inter class name with any Google font of your choice. We have seen the import of font as global font in layout.tsx file. Now it's good for global implementation, but we cannot call the font in different pages separately by this method. And if you try to call single font in each page, then you will end up with multiple instances in your final web app. Ultimately, it will slow down your app. The easiest way to solve this issue is just create a common font file with TS extension. Then call all the necessary font there and store and export them as constants. In this way, you only have to call the font file in your page, and it will only be loaded once in your project. Good luck, and have a look in the implementation. Here I have added a smaller H2 heading to show the usages. Write your tagline or something interesting here and call the font class name. That's it. But before that, you have to import the new font file. I've placed it inside the fonts directory in src for simplicity. Observe the call difference carefully. I've shown the use of export from both TSX and TS font files. The naming and extension is very important. TSX file will require a default export, while TS will allow multiple constant export without a single default one. So choose as per requirement. Here you can see the fonts being implemented properly. In final build, these fonts will be added exactly on their defined spots. We only have to avoid multiple instance call, especially for performance issue. That's all for external fonts call. Now let's try to add a local font in our app. But before moving, let's try adding another Google font in our app. When your app grows big, you will always need 2 or 3 different fonts for a specific purpose. Maybe you want a stylish title and a plain text paragraph. All of this can be done with different fonts. Usually, I don't prefer using too many fonts in a single app, but 2 or 3 is fine. You must consider the consistency for better performance and user experience. So let's import the Montserrat font and use it in the H2. The call and implementation is same. Simply export it alongside the Roboto font and call it by name in the class name of H2 heading. In the following section, I have tweaked the font file from TSX to TS. Hence, there is slight change in the import. You can choose either format, but before that, try to understand the actual difference and impact on the final web app. Remember, TSX file will be compiled as a UI component and TS file will be treated as a logic set. Hence, overall resource utilization is less with TS format. Now you are aware and ready to choose. Let's move on to the next part. As you remember, we have downloaded the Fair Play font in the start of this session. Now move it in the fonts directory and call it insidefonts.ts file. Instead of Google, we use local and src for font location, and rest is same. Good luck. Now, let's move on to optimizing images. Next.js has a built-in image component that makes it super easy to optimize images. Let's add an image to our to-do list app and optimize it using this component. I'll use the default Next.js logo and Vercel logo for this demonstration. Keep in mind, we are talking about local images here. Their images are and will remain in your web app directory, either in an image folder or most probably in public directory. The implementation is easy. Import the image as a logo or any suitable name is fine. Then import image from Next/images. Place the image tag anywhere inside the UI and drop the logo in the src of the image tag. That's it. Next.js will automatically lazy load this image for better performance. You can also tweak the size values, although it's not necessary here, especially for local images. Unless it needs resizing, you can leave the image as it is and Next.js will handle the sizing automatically. It is really quite easy to call local image in Next.js. Now you have to do a little hard work for external images. It is important to understand that everything will be compiled and external files cannot be preloaded for better performance unless you provide the source beforehand to the Next compiler. Therefore, first of all, grab a beautiful image URL from internet. It may be your social profile or any other image. Here I'm using an Unsplash image for demo purpose. Store the URL in a constant, then add necessary configuration in Next. config.mjs file. Finally, call the image URL in the src of image tag. Mind it, this time the image will require some sizing, else you may see error. In next.config.mjs file, add an image parameter inside the default Next config constant. This image parameter will require a map declaration, which will take an array of remote patterns as value. You have to place the HTTPS protocol and hostname inside a map in this remote pattern array. In our case, we are using image from Unsplash, so the hostname will be images.unsplash.com. You can add multiple hostname here with definite path, port, and even secure credentials. But make sure you are aware of the risk of losing these details. If mishandled by someone, it can cause serious loss. Stay careful while using credentials. Read the official docs for details. Let's see if it works or not. Good luck. You can see the source code of your app in Developer panel. And there you have it. We've covered adding custom fonts, optimizing images, lazy loading, and handling external images. Your to-do list app should now load faster and look even better. That's a wrap for Chapter 3. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Got questions? Drop them in the comments below. Stay tuned for Chapter 4, where we'll dive into creating layouts and pages in Next.js. Until then, keep coding and stay awesome. Thanks for watching TechnoSpace. Catch you in the next chapter.